Right now, you're lying in bed. Maybe you're stressed about money. Maybe a conversation from 3 days ago is still playing on loop in your head. Maybe you're just staring at the ceiling for no reason you can name. You've been doing this your whole life. So has everyone you know. So has every human that has ever lived. The things that keep us up at night didn't start with modern life. They started the moment something in our ancestors' brains crossed a line. The line between reacting to the world and thinking about it. And once that line got crossed, there was no going back. Here's what ancient humans were actually lying awake about. And some of it is going to sound very familiar. Let's start with the obvious one. Predators. For most of human prehistory, night was when you died. Lions, hyenas, leopards, they're all built for darkness. Better night vision, better hearing, quieter movement, and early humans had none of that. No claws, no fangs, no speed. What they had was fire, and the terrifying awareness that fire goes out. Imagine lying in a cave in the African savanna 100,000 years ago. You can hear something moving outside. You don't know if it's the wind. You don't know if it's a lion. You won't know until it's either gone or it isn't, and there is nothing you can do but lie there and listen. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer groups have found that many of them still sleep in shifts without even thinking about it. One person always slightly awake, always listening. It's not a rule they made. It's something the body just does. Because for 99% of human existence, falling completely, peacefully asleep in the dark was how you didn't wake up. That reflex is still in you. That 3 a.m. alertness that hits for no reason. That feeling that something's wrong when nothing is. That's not anxiety. That's ancient threat detection running on modern hardware with nothing to actually detect. But predators aren't the most interesting thing they were afraid of. Because here's what makes humans different from every other animal hiding from lions in the dark. We asked why. A leopard doesn't wonder why the leopard exists. It doesn't lie awake trying to understand what the stars are, or what happens to the members of the group who stopped moving and went cold. It just lives. We couldn't do that. And archaeologists think this happened somewhere between 100,000 and 70,000 years ago. We became incapable of experiencing the world without trying to explain it. And in a world with no science, no writing, no accumulated knowledge, explanation meant something else entirely. It meant spirits. Every ancient culture on every continent independently arrived at the same answer for what caused things they couldn't understand. Invisible forces with intention. Wind wasn't weather. It was something breathing. Disease wasn't bacteria. It was punishment or possession or a curse from someone who wished you harm. And the dark, obviously, was where those things lived. The oldest known religious rituals. Cave burials dating back 300,000 years. Red ochre painted on bodies. Goods left beside the dead. All of them suggest the same terrifying question keeping people awake long before language was sophisticated enough to even properly ask it. Where did they go? The person who was here yesterday. Breathing, laughing, eating beside you. And then one morning they were just matter. Still. Silent. And you couldn't make them come back. No animal on earth buries its dead with intention except us. And the reason we do it, the reason we've always done it, is because we couldn't accept that death was simply the end of something. The alternative, that there was nothing after, was apparently too horrible to sit with even 300,000 years ago. Some things don't change. Then there was hunger. Not the hunger you feel when lunch runs a little late. Real hunger. The kind that starts in your stomach and moves into your thoughts until that's all there is. The kind that makes your children cry in the night with a sound you cannot fix. Farming only started about 12,000 years ago. For the 200,000 years before that, the vast majority of human history, every single meal had to be found. And if you didn't find one, or the herd moved, or the berries ran out, or the drought came, there was no backup. Hunter-gatherer groups were in a state of constant, low-grade food anxiety. Studies of modern groups still living this way show that thoughts about where the next food source will be are essentially continuous. They go to sleep thinking about it. They wake up thinking about it. And there was one food fear darker than all the others. One that doesn't make it into the clean historical documentaries. Famine bad enough that the group had to make a choice about who ate. This happened. Anthropologists have documented it across dozens of cultures separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years. When there wasn't enough, decisions got made. About the elderly, about infants, about the sick who couldn't recover. Those decisions didn't go away when the famine ended. The people who made them still had to sleep afterward. Here's one that almost never gets talked about. Social fear. Being cast out of the group wasn't just embarrassing for an ancient human. It was a death sentence. You couldn't hunt large prey alone. You couldn't defend yourself alone. You couldn't survive a winter alone. The group was survival. Full stop. Which means that every social dynamic within the group, every conflict, every rivalry, every shifting alliance, was a matter of life and death in a way we've completely lost touch with. Tracking who's aligned with who. Remembering who wronged you and who helped you. Modeling what other people think about you. Running simulations of future social scenarios to prepare for them. You do this constantly. You probably did it today, and you do it at night. The quiet terror of being misunderstood by someone whose opinion matters to you. That's not a modern problem. That's a 200,000-year-old survival system. Because for almost all of human existence, social death and actual death were basically the same thing. And then there's the one that might be the strangest of all. The sky. Modern humans barely look up. City lights drown out most of it, and the rest we've explained into familiarity. We know what stars are. We know what the moon is. We have names and distances and diagrams. Ancient humans had none of that. They looked up at thousands of cold lights suspended in something they had no word for, moving in patterns they couldn't explain, surrounding a moon that inexplicably changed shape on a schedule, occasionally producing lights that fell, comets, eclipses, meteor showers. And the eclipse in particular. An eclipse must have been one of the most terrifying things a human being could witness. The sun starts disappearing, in the middle of the day, for no reason. The temperature drops. Birds stop singing and return to their nests. Animals panic, and then the sky goes dark. Every culture in the ancient world interpreted eclipses as catastrophe, as punishment, as the sun being devoured. The Mesopotamians developed extensive rituals to protect the king during eclipses because they were so certain disaster would follow. The ancient Chinese believed a dragon was eating the sun. In multiple cultures, the response was to make as much noise as possible, drums, shouting, banging metal, to scare away whatever was consuming it. It worked, obviously. Every time they made noise, the sun came back. And they lay awake after, wondering when it would happen again, wondering what they had done to deserve it, wondering whether next time the noise wouldn't be enough. What's strange, what's almost uncomfortable, is how much of this is still running in us. The broken sleep, the 3 a.m. alertness, the social anxiety, the existential dread, the hunger for explanation when things don't make sense, the fear that something vast and dark and indifferent is moving outside the light of what we can see and understand. We solved the predators. We solved the famine, mostly. We explained the eclipse and mapped the stars and lit up the night until darkness itself retreated. And we still can't sleep, because it was never really about the lions. It was about the awareness underneath the fear, the very human knowledge that the world is larger than you can see, more dangerous than you can predict, and completely indifferent to whether you make it through the night. That awareness is what made us build fires in the dark, and tools, and languages, and gods, and eventually cities and telescopes and medicines and all the rest of it. Every piece of human civilization is, at some level, a response to what kept us up at night. We're not less afraid than our ancestors. We're just afraid of different things. And we've gotten very good at building light to push back the dark. But the dark is patient. It was there before the first fire. And some nights, when everything gets quiet enough, you can still feel it. Right at the edge of where the light reaches. Just outside. Waiting.